Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm your boy Abram, joined as usual by my avian co-host Tucker Hazel. And we're here to talk about a bird. We're here to talk
Yeah.
about
Some
the
beans?
bird of the hour and of the
Oh,
entire Nintendo community at the moment.
yeah.
We're here to talk about Pyoro, but not Pyoro's experience in and amongst and around Wario. No, we're
Eh,
talking about the leaker by who refers to themselves as Pyoro, who
yes.
has entirely predicted One Direct completely,
Yep.
has gotten a number of things right since, and has now dropped a shit ton of information about the new Nintendo Direct. And I think we're going to talk about that in its particulars. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this video. But
Yeah.
also, this is going to be kind of a larger conversation about what a figure like Pyoro does to the Nintendo community when they quote unquote take away all the surprises of a Nintendo
Mm,
Direct.
mm.
But if you
Yeah.
want to talk with us about
But,
this, join our Discord. Link as usual, top of the description, way down there. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment telling me if you've ever
wow,
played.
that's a really good rhythm. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna let you know.
yeah,
You
sure.
you were hitting the like I
I
don't know what
know.
was that like a 3/4
I'm a
time?
metronome.
That was awesome. Comment
Tell me
saying
if you
what?
played Bird and Bean. Have you played Bird and Beans? Let me know in the comments. Tucker, have you played Bird and Beans?
Yeah. I mean, it's in like most of WarioWare games, right? I think
It was
it's like a separate
also
thing.
it was also one of the ones that was released individually on the DSi Ware shop.
That's right. Yes.
And I'm not sure exactly why, but I
I believe
really
it was
wanted
called
it.
Pyoro though, like
It was
the
called
DSi
something,
version.
but I played a lot of it. I like Pyoro. I like Pyoro as a bird.
Yeah.
Do I like Pyoro as a leaker, though? Tucker, I'm curious for your opinion first and foremost, because Pyoro, again, just to recap, predicted Mario. Predicted is not true.
Yes.
Told us that we are going to see Mario Wonder with the title and the elephant power up all leaked all together.
Mm-hmm.
Also told us about Mario RPG Remake,
Yeah.
exactly when the direct would air. Told us that the original rabbit designed for Sonic would be in Sonic Superstars.
Yeah.
Correctly told us when NSO news was coming.
Yeah.
The
Detective
long and
Pikachu
short,
Returns, Pikmin 1 and 2. It's a fucking
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
the long and short of it is that Pyoro,
Is
when Pyoro
currently
says
being
something,
hunted. Pyoro may go extinct sometime soon because very clearly
possible,
they are not a person that's supposed to be saying these things.
yeah,
And they continue to. And my feeling on the matter is that it being the second time that Pyro has done this
yeah.
annoys me. Because I think
So curious about this, yeah,
what I like about leaks and rumors and the conversation is that there's always this air of mystery. It's Jeff Grubb saying something, and someone corroborates it, and then it's been a couple months, and we don't quite know what's going on, and this is a game that was maybe in production here, and then that doesn't come to fruition, and there's this conversation about what is realistic, who is trustworthy, what elements of their history can you take bits and pieces from, saying, yeah, this makes sense, combining it with your knowledge of development of games or, Nintendo in-house studios, stuff like that. But Pyoro is just through, like, I don't know, fucking Sphinx riddles and, like, hieroglyphics, ostensibly, like, just gifs, telling us what's going to be happening. And, of course,
yeah,
we're on the second time. We don't know for a fact that this is true. But for the topic or purposes of this video, we are under the assumption that with a direct within 7 days, we will know that Pyoro is doubly correct because they were
yeah.
incredibly correct the first time around with, as we said, most of the slate of upcoming games in that direct being predicted, other than WarioWare, Dark Moon, and Peach Game. But there's been a number of leaks and rumors here coming from Pyoro, ranging from Donkey Kong. Okay, now it's Donkey Kong that has minis in it, so it's a DK versus Mario game. F-Zero, okay, then it's actually F-Zero 99, and then, I don't know, there's just a bunch of little things that are cropping up. And the reason I say it annoys me is because Pyro has taken any of the purpose out of conversation here. It is, this will be happening, watch it or not, we already know, fuck off. Like, and that, I think, to me, defeats the purpose of conversation. When it's Nintendo telling us this, and it's through the lens of their proper pacing of a presentation and the reveal trailers that give us a lot of information about a game, and it's what Nintendo designed the game to be revealed around, that is the path forward that is supposed to lead us properly into what's happening here. But when, again, through riddles and hieroglyphics and whatever, Pyro's like, we're getting F-Zero 99, it's like, okay, well, then we're going to see it and be like, Yep, Pyro said that. And instead of the conversation be like, oh, that's really interesting. I can't wait for this I can't wait to see what the rest of this trailer is. What's the name of this game? It's F099. Pyro told us about that, and that means the rest of this stuff is real, so why am I fucking bothering? There's no panache out of the experience of conversation or watching the direct when one person that is apparently as reputable as they are is able to just let us know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many thoughts on Pyoro. I mean, my biggest question is, and if they're smart, we will never have the answer, which is, who is Pyoro?
Exactly, yeah.
And the specificity to which they get this information makes me feel like they must work within Nintendo.
Yeah.
Or know somebody
Hopefully
who
someone's
does.
uncle, ideally.
Ideally. Depending on birth rates of where Pyoro lives, it might be very likely to be somebody's uncle or not. Who knows? But yeah, it's quite interesting because it's unclear what Pyoro's function is, right? Yeah. Because you think about somebody like Jeff Grubb, who has staked their reputation on being an insider.
Yeah.
And is often wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And there's this sort of interesting dance when a Jeff Grubb or a Emily Rogers or a Andy Robinson or
Jonathan
whoever, Jonathan Bark, shares a piece of information because their career and name and reputation in part is tied to this information being correct.
Yeah.
And their hit loss ratio is way worse than this person who has adopted the persona of a tertiary WarioWare character. and so I think that's super fascinating. It reminds me a little bit of like that guy, the Snitch, who was getting a lot of shit right. The Snitch was sort of narrowed down to maybe be like a YouTube employee who could see privated videos. Now, obviously, that doesn't help Pyoro because Pyoro is like breaking things out of the Nintendo Direct video that they go live with. So it's interesting to speculate about that. It's interesting to wonder what their function is.
Yeah. What's their end goal?
What is the end game of Pyoro? Who knows? Yeah. But I think there's
the entire dismemberment of the video gaming industry.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things we can say for certain.
Yeah.
One thing we can say for certain is that devs don't like the games being leaked. We know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's just 100% true. We know that when it comes to journalists, they're in an interesting position where they have sort of, again, a response. I don't know if responsibility is the right word, but a responsibility to their audience, a sort of sense of duty, how about to handle their leaks in the right way. This is a totally anonymous person, doesn't really give a shit what Nintendo's developers think, and neither really should they.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, ultimately, Pyoro as a force is most interesting to talk about concretely as he relates to the Nintendo community. And as you're saying,
of which we are members.
Yeah, there's this whole way to read Pyoro where Pyoro is coming in here and spoiling surprises and stuff. And you could take it that way, but Tucker, I disagree with you.
Okay.
To me, Pyoro's function or position's a little bit different. Because I think Pyoro is fun. I think that at the end of the day, Pyoro brings fun to the community. Yeah. Especially now that Pyoro is a voice that people know of and put stock in. I think about the whole Donkey Kong thing. The Donkey Kong thing is very interesting. Because Pyoro said, hey, or didn't say anything, posted the gif of Donkey Kong. Which, in Pyro's credit, is from the part of the movie where he fights Mario.
Sure. The GIF does not feature these actions.
No, but
and there are GIFs that you could use from that movie that would feature those actions.
Yeah, but he explicitly didn't. And he did something very interesting that I hadn't noticed until Fidel, the game's cage, spelled out on Twitter for me. Pyro posts that. A couple hours later, that leaker, who I think has been right about 1/5 of the time with the Detective Pikachu profile picture, starts talking about shit and building on top of the fact that Donkey Kong is coming.
Yeah.
Pyro then quote tweets them and says, if you were wrong, delete your account. And then 10 minutes later says it's a Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. He does the exact same thing to our beloved friend Jonathan Bark, saying delete your account if you're wrong. Jonathan Bark also being like, man, this is a Donkey Kong game I reported on a long time ago. He's clearly fucking with people.
Yeah.
He's clearly having fun with the group. To me, I think there's a lot of value in that because he's just an enigmatic guy doing shit. being
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
aloof. We also don't know if the whole F-Zero 99 thing is true. We know
sure.
that he's teased F-Zero. We know that he's
Yes.
liked posts saying F-Zero 99.
Yeah.
But now there's this interesting mythos around the logic of Pyoro, as though
Yes.
this is Seven or Zodiac.
And here's the thing. I think
Yeah,
there are two inside of my mind, there are two Pyoros. One of
sure.
them is the fact that Pyro is an enigma and has this sort
Yeah,
of puzzle and logic element towards the community, like coming together and being like, what does this set of likes mean? Or this
yeah.
reply. Like, he's been phrasing things in ostensibly riddles. I can't exactly remember what the F-Zero thing was, but it
I
was like
remember
some
it. He said that.
logarithmic fucking mathematic thing that comes to
Yeah,
mean F-Zero if you know what you're talking about. And
yeah,
so the fact that this is like ostensibly like an ARG for Nintendo Direct announcements is very fascinating. And we will definitely look back on this in a couple years and be like, wow, do you remember how interesting that was?
yeah,
And it was like, I can't believe that this happened, and we got to like put it together, and it was through these interesting riddles, and he has a sort of logic thing, and we get to like look through his fucking likes and like do some research to like put it together. That is really
yeah.
cool, and it is so much more interesting than the other hypothetical, like sort of, I don't know, like a Jonathan Bark type that is just like, this is what is happening. We all, Jonathan Bark, I'm sorry, buddy, we don't believe you. But if he was right, what Pyro does is way more interesting by making it a community effort to put things together. However, and I think this is where the other Pyro sits in my mind. If Pyro sits around for too long and the Nintendo Ninjas don't not lock down their account and fucking find out who they are, I don't think this will be fun for very long. I think that once every time that this continues to consecutively happen, it loses less of its mystique. It becomes a replacement for the Nintendo Direct. It becomes a
Yeah.
replacement for Nintendo's advertising. And suddenly, there's no need for conversation because we have Pyoro to do all the work for us, quote unquote. Because the riddles are there. But once they're solved, it's a known quantity. And having one person outside Nintendo, quote unquote, obviously they are involved in Nintendo in some way, doing all the work for the community's discussion, that I think takes away a lot of the community value in talking about things. We're no longer allowed to, quote unquote, allowed to use our own reasoning and deduction and multiple sources to come up with one thing. It's one thing is feeding us the answers, and that's it. It's just like a period at the end of the sentence.
I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but like my Twitter feed's probably been more alive with conversation about what a new F-Zero game
Yeah.
could look like, or what the remake of a Wii and DS related Wii and DS games could be,
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. I mean, ultimately, VGC reporting Metroid Prime Trilogy coming to Switch. What can I do with that? Ultimately, nothing, because
Yeah.
they've been saying it for 4 years.
Exactly.
I think that it also comes down to the fact that Nintendo is advertising to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo doesn't care about me. Nintendo doesn't know about me. Nintendo's not talking to me when they put out Nintendo Direct. Pyoro is whipping up a fucking frenzy. Pyoro is going after this other leaker guy. Pyoro is trying to give us hints. Pyoro is talking. Pyoro is doing stuff. To me, that's a lot more interesting community engagement than corporation has a video, watch the video,
Yeah.
and good. I mean, ultimately, to me, there's an interesting part of my mind that's like, man, when I watch a Nintendo Direct, I'm just fucking waiting and crossing my fingers like, man, it's a Nintendo thing I want going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Indie, third party, get out of the way. I want to see the Nintendo, Now I kind of know, oh man, there's going to be something F-Zero in here. I can't wait to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if we're using your sort of frame of conversation, quote unquote, in the most general sense of conversation, now we've been talking about on Twitter for a little while, ooh, there's going to be F-Zero. What's it going to look like? What form is it going to take? And then we see the Direct. We're all so excited. It's all the big Nintendo Direct. We all get together. We all talk about it. We break down the trailers, do everything.
Yeah.
It's not taken away from us. I mean, maybe I'm not going to shout when I see F-Zero now, but I just want a good F-Zero game. I just want to talk about F-Zero.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely comes down to one of our big like internal disagreements when it comes to our cynicism when we view the video game sphere, because I disagree in that, and we can point to a specific example, this being our filmed reaction up on YouTube of the last Nintendo Direct, where instead of the moment being, oh my god, Super Mario RPG is getting a remake, the mystery of it being a shot of Peach and then transitioning into something, and it being Super Mario RPG, because we were informed by Pyoro that there would be a Super Mario RPG remake, and I can't exactly remember what other details, but that was one of
Yeah.
the facts, and that being attached to the fact that Mario Wonder, New 2D Mario, whatever we knew at that point, would also be happening. There was no moment for us revealing Super Mario RPG. And frankly,
Yeah.
that game is less exciting and less interesting to me because instead of having this moment where the intended video and the intended developer community experience of this is what we're leading into it, and there's a shot of Peach, and what does this mean? And then we get to read the art style and the fact that it's a remake of this game.
Yeah.
All of that was washed away by the moment we saw there was Super Mario RPG. We're like, okay, this is real. We already knew it was real, and that means this other thing is real. There's no
Sure.
in the moment. There's no, this is Super Mario RPG and that's exciting. It's Pyoro leaked this. And so I worry for my investment in future Nintendo Directs, if this continues to happen, when each moment is no longer about the game, it's about the fact that other related things are being announced. And
Sure.
instead of the game, it's the person leaking it is the focus. Oh, this proves him right. This proves him right. As opposed to the game itself being the focus of the conversation. I think this is a big detractor and distractor from the intended moment and community experience, because where I also disagree in your cynicism is, yes, Nintendo is a corporation that's making a thing that doesn't care about you personally. But Nintendo also knows their fans, and they are designing this for you as a Nintendo fan. And so when Smash Ultimate has its character reveal order in a certain way that builds up to Snake, and then everyone is here, and then Pichu, and that is because Nintendo isn't as cynical as you're saying, and because they want that moment, and that moment will continue to be memorable for at least for the people that are invested in it the rest of their lives, because that wasn't spoiled, because there wasn't someone saying this is exactly what's going to happen. And the reason that I think I lean a little more on the hype side is because that's where memories come from for me. Surprise is important for personal investment in something. And when that surprise is poked with like a needle in a balloon, and suddenly all the air is let out and it's already been in the room for 3 days before, then there's no, holy shit, there's a balloon moment.
Sure.
There's already been air in this room. What the fuck do I care?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. I think that it's also important to note, though, that there's always a distraction. There's always something.
Sure.
There's us watching the Metroid Dread reveal, and you're like making a list on your phone of like, when is Mario Superstars coming out? Because there's always a meta game to something. And the meta game is, oh my god, I can't believe we're seeing another farming game because I want to see my Scrimblow Bimblow fucking jumping around thing. There's always something else going on, I think.
Yeah.
Now, this is obviously a little bit different in that, if A, then B, sort of the logic we end up following. But I think it comes back to, you're right about Nintendo making these for us, but at the same time, it is still a big marketing video. And that doesn't mean it's not fun by any stretch of imagination, because Nintendo Direct days are like some of the most fun days of the year.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is I almost feel like Pyoro makes it more about the community, because Pyoro is not Nintendo putting out, and now here is
sure, yeah, I would agree with that.
Putting out the tweet saying, here's everybody 1-2 switch, and here's go look at the website, whatever. It's Pyoro saying, brother, fans of a MATLAB function are going to be excited for the next Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
And now suddenly, everybody in the Nintendo community is replying to Pyoro and leaving GIFs and making jokes and saying F-Zero and freaking out. And then everybody's spending 3 days quote retweeting and talking about F-Zero GX, and they're doing all this stuff. To me, it seems like there's been a lot of really good community engagement in the last couple days.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then we still get to see the game. Yeah. And this does come down again to our difference of, if Nintendo on the morning of Nintendo Direct said, hey, put your email into this webpage and we're going to send you back a video attachment with 4 MP4s, an MP4 for 2 minutes of gameplay of each new game we have to show you, I'd be just as happy.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I want to know what games I'm going to be playing.
Yeah.
And it feels like stimulating conversation through this like heel type character in the community who knows but doesn't know or doesn't share everything is fun. I mean, I think it would be a totally different can of worms if Pyro said, in the next Nintendo Direct, you're going to see F-Zero Climax 99. It is going to be the GBA game F-Zero Climax, but 99 players play together, and they all play in their own arena, and after every round, the track gets narrower, and you're going to see a remake of... people are... I saw somebody say this is kind of clever, the DS and related DS and Wii games being like Golden Sun and Mario Sluggers, like 2 Camelot games. So for the point,
sure.
So for the point of my example, him saying...
You can use them.
And there's going to be an enhanced remake of Mario Super Sluggers, and there's going to be an enhanced remake of Golden Sun Dark Dawn, and it's going to be called Golden Sun Dark Dawn Returns, and the new feature is going to be this, and the new characters in Mario Baseball are going to be that. He's there's almost like a jester-like quality to Pyoro that I like.
100%.
And I just don't see how that doesn't stimulate conversation now and make the Nintendo Direct like a week long. And how B, we can't still be super excited when finally we see the thing and then get to react to the thing itself, opposed to the idea of the thing. I guess is where I come down on it.
Because, here's the thing. I agree with you. I think that the difference is the Nintendo Direct's conversation before the games are revealed and started because of someone outside of Nintendo, or is the conversation around the Direct a week after the Direct happened and it's because of the games themselves and the Nintendo put forward, as you're correct, marketing, but the Nintendo Direct spurring conversation for a week.
And the question, though, just because I'm curious about this in particular, would you say that people would have talked more about Mario Wonder and Mario RPG Remake if Pyro had not said that ahead of time? Because I don't think that's true at all. I mean, those games constantly.
No, not necessarily, but it's because those games are big enough. However, I do think that the honest truth of the moment is I don't enjoy a Nintendo Direct as much because this guy told me what to expect.
Sure.
And I honestly, maybe it's just like an emotional thing. I want an emotional reaction to something. And I want a memory to be formed because of the intended creation of, and it's maybe ridiculous to say, but the artists that create this trailer, I want their creation to be able to impact me in the way that they were designing. And this is like, and maybe this is something about spoilers for movies as well, but like if there would be no emotional reaction to Infinity War if someone told you right before you were about to go in, hey, most of them die. And you're like sitting there the whole time like, well, I guess most of them are going to die. When's that going to happen? Instead of immersing yourself in the moment. And so that, I think, is really where it comes down to for me. When we're watching this Direct, I will not be focusing on the Direct. I will be thinking every single time a new trailer starts, is this something Pyoro said? If this is something Pyoro said, what's going to come next? And not focusing on the games themselves. I agree that the discussion is great. I agree that the gesture-like quality of this ridiculous guy that's putting forth these riddles is a lot of fun. But I don't think it's more fun than sitting there on a morning knowing having no idea what's going to happen and hearing a fucking F-Zero car sound. And be like, oh, shit, F-Zero is here. And then, boom, 99 players. Oh my god, I can't believe they're fucking doing this. Instead, it's going to be car sound. Oh, Pyro said that, and that means this is real, and we know it's F-099, and why bother watching the trailer? Because we already know what's going to fucking happen.
I think the difference is why bother watching the trailer? Because you're excited to play the game. And I think that's the thing of it for me. Well, because here's the thing, right? I love F-Zero. I think F-Zero is fucking super cool. I have not been engaged in the games industry at any time when a new F-Zero has come out. It's been that long since F-Zero has been around, right? So if Nintendo said today, hey guys, in 1 week's time, we're going to post a video to our YouTube channel at 9 a.m. EST showing you the future of F-Zero, I would wake up that day so excited because ultimately what it means that this thing I've been waiting for so long, I'm going to get to see it and get to experience it.
Sure.
Now, if it's something I don't care about, right, then the conversation will be a little bit different. But ultimately,
of course.
I'm looking to watch Nintendo Direct to see the future of the Nintendo games and series that I care about and see what I get to experience next. So to me, I think it's a little bit less that, because you said something like, oh, it's not about the Direct, it's about like, oh, Pyoro leaked that. To me, it's about now the games. Now I'm sitting down, I'm going to wake up. I don't know if Pyoro said when he thinks the Direct is happening, but just whatever day it is in the next couple of weeks, whenever it is, waking up thinking, man, today I'm finally going to see an F-Zero game. Yeah. And I'm finally going to get to see a Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. Finally, to a lesser degree. The one on 3DS eShop, by the way, Many is on the Move, is a good game, and people should play that. But
I'll take your word for it. I
I
can't get it.
just you can't. I think we just fundamentally look at this very differently because
Absolutely. And we
ultimately,
always have
but I
when it
think
comes
here's
to
the
this
other
stuff.
interesting part of this, though, right? You
Yeah.
still get goosebumps when you watch the Breath of the Wild trailer
Yeah.
8 years later.
Hmm.
I still get so excited when I rewatch the Metroid Dread trailer.
Absolutely.
I've seen that trailer. I know the beats.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the fact that in revisiting it, that's such a cool trailer. It means a lot,
Yes.
you know?
And I agree with you. But, and maybe this is just me projecting onto you, but this is certainly my thought process in that moment. Yeah, I rewatched the Odyssey trailer, the Breath of the Wild trailer,
Yeah,
the Ultimate trailer, and holy shit, I was fucking rewatching the Let's Go trailer a couple weeks ago, because
sure.
I remember shitting my fucking pants during that trailer. I'm like, no way, co-op Pokemon and riding Pokemon, oh, and I was fucking gurgling in the
Yeah,
theater when I was watching it. But it was because I am re-experiencing that initial moment. And the initial
I
moment is,
see.
first impressions are so important to Smash Ultimate being revealed and us not knowing quite what it was. I mean, if you remember back, it was Smash 4.5 and the logo's kind of the same. What the fuck is this? Is it a port? Is it not? And then the experience of sitting there with my friends and not knowing what was going to happen next and which characters and then holy shit, holy
Sure.
shit, holy shit, building, building, building. That was because I didn't know what was going to come next. And that
Yeah.
made it an emotional experience for me. So when I rewatch either, well, actually, I don't have my reaction to Smash Ultimate, but I'm thinking back to my Smash Ultimate reaction on
Yeah,
watching
sure.
someone else's. The joy and the passion and the goosebumps come from not knowing what's going to happen next and being
Yeah.
able to experience it unfettered of external stimuli. I wouldn't. I probably would still love the Smash Ultimate trailer if Nintendo had posted or someone else had posted it the day before. It's got everyone in it, and Snake and Pichu and the fucking, I don't know, Breath of the Wild stage and Ridley and
Yeah.
Daisy and all that. It would still be a great trailer, but I wouldn't be getting goosebumps looking back on it because there would be no initial moment of surprise, of delight.
Sure.
I think that I weigh the in the moment experience, obviously for this marketing stuff, more heavily than you do. I am intrigued by the process of announcing a game, of how do they reveal it? What makes it
Yeah.
feel special? What connects to me? The way that the music or the editing works, that is something that I find very enthralling. And taking away from that means that I agree that the point of all of this is to get you to know about a game you're hopefully going to like and want to
Yeah.
play. However, I am way more likely to care about a game and want to play it if I'm given the opportunity to have a passionate connection to it. And I
Yeah.
get passionate connections to games that I have no connection to. Fucking Compulsion Studios making Clockwork Revolution. That
Oh. Oh, yeah. 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 Okay.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
game, that studio, I have no connection to. But because it was a surprise, because it was an interesting trailer that I didn't know was going to connect. What is the gameplay of this going to be? What's the name of it? What purpose does this serve? Is this their closing thing? And oh, because it's their closing thing, what does that mean for the importance of this game? That is all tied into, I now want to play Clockwork Revolution because there was that moment of, what the hell is this? I'm finding this really interesting. I'm able to take it in on my own rather than someone else ostensibly, quote unquote, telling me what to feel. Pyoro is like, this is what's going to happen. And it's like someone else telling you what to know. And I find a lack of mystique in that, I guess.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think that ultimately, like, again, he's not spelling out what the game is. He doesn't have the trailer rip that he's giving us.
Yeah,
You can still analyze how the trailer's put together as you're
absolutely.
watching it. Maybe in this
100%.
in this way you can almost see it a little bit clearer. Because you're not like,
Hmm.
oh, it's fucking Samurai Goro.
But why would I want to see it more clearly? I
No,
would
but I'm
rather be more
yeah.
happy than be able to see it clearly.
No, I'm not. I'm just simply saying that now, if you wanted to, you can see it more analytically. But
Sure,
even
of course. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it also comes down to the fact that, like, again, I just want to play F-Zero. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't
And
go that deep.
apparently, you're gonna be able to.
It doesn't go, like, ultimately. That's my thing about it. It doesn't go that deep.
Yeah.
If fucking a guy walked up to my door and knocked on my door, and I opened my door, and he
Pretty
hands
knock.
me like a scroll,
Oh.
and the scroll says, "A new
Is he
F-Zero
dressed as
game is
like a
coming."
bard? Like a
No, he's
messenger of some
actually
sort.
totally naked.
Oh, perfect. That's
He's
what I was
totally
hoping for.
naked. And
That's
just
what I was
carrying a scroll. Why did I open
Yeah.
the door for a naked person? I don't know, but I did. He opens
Yeah.
the scroll. It says F-Zero's coming
Sexual
back.
intrigue?
Sexual intrigue, probably. The sexual intrigue would only grow after reading the scroll.
Exactly.
Whether
And other things would grow.
Yeah. Whether my hair, and it's on the spot. Whether it's a guy with a scroll at my door, whether it's Pyro or on Twitter, whether it's the ghost of Shinzo Abe, whether it's who fucking cares. Any apparition from this plane of existence or the next could come to me, or I guess Nintendo properly could come to me and say, F-Zero is coming back, and I'm going to be excited because F-Zero is coming back.
Yeah. And
that's just where I come down on it. And I just think that I end up valuing what's happening on Twitter right now more than what's coming after. Because ultimately, to me, what this feels like now is informed speculation. Sure. I think part of my personal issue with how the Nintendo community operates a lot of the time, and I'll put our good friend, who we've now both hugged in real life, Botox Media. I'll put him on blast for a minute because he made a video talking about Tomodachi Life coming back. And he says something like, "What did you say, Bo? You said, unfortunately, it's gonna be like an HD version." Yeah. And I go, and I'm lying in the hotel bed. I'm thinking to myself, Bo, this game doesn't exist yet, right? Yeah. Where's unfortunately come in from? Where's this coming from, right? And now that is cool because Bo is somebody who thinks very, very deeply about Nintendo and has very, very informed opinions and very deep layers of logic to back that up. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, he's still just talking nonsense on a certain level. Yeah. Now the whole community is talking about F-Zero because we have a super concrete and strong reason to believe we're about to see it. Definitely. And now suddenly that speculation hits at least me a little bit different. Mm-hmm. It's not coming from the breathtaking visage of Botox Media. Sorry, Botox Games. I didn't mean to dead channel name you there, Bo.
Oh, Christ.
But I just think that it's a little bit, for me, it feels a little bit different and a little bit more exciting because we're all talking about something that is almost definitely real.
Definitely. And the thought that I want to close this on is the idea that that this is going to happen soon, and we're going to find out that it's all real. And then how long does this continue for? Do we get Switch 2 information from this guy? Do we get a launch lineup information from this guy? Other than Mario Wonder, basically everything he's leaked has been like B and C tier stuff. But do we get Mario Kart 9 or a 2D Zelda game or I don't know, fucking Smash port with a new character from this guy? That I think is the moment where I will really try to start avoiding this kind of conversation. I think that for me, because of my yearning for emotional connection and passion in the moment, I have not quite gotten to the point where I wanted to avoid things, but I felt that. I deleted the Twitter app. Sorry, Elon. Don't mean to dead app name you. The X app from my phone when I found out that things were starting to leak, because I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with this. But then I went for it anyway because you guys were talking about it. I wanted to be part of the conversation. I'm a fucking conversation genius. I always got to be in it. But I do think there comes a point where if this continues, I will try to isolate myself because I feel that this actively harms my experience. It did last time with Super Mario RPG and then the expectations and everything that I talked about before. And it's just interesting because I feel like in this instance, it's someone making the decision for me. Am I able to open myself up to pre-direct conversation or not? Because if I allow myself to go with what everyone else is doing because of this one guy's one choice to leak things, my experience will be hampered. My memories will be hampered. My passion for these games in this moment and what I care about in the marketing will be actively harmed. And it's just a little frustrating to me that someone else is making that decision for me. And I don't know, that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, you want to be able to make the choice to engage with these things.
I'm pro-choice.
You are pro-choice on the Pyoro issue.
Yes. Oh, Christ. Do you have any other threads that you'd like to take this on, or are we kind of wrapping up?
I think we're basically wrapped up. We'll be back in an indiscriminately, I think, probably short period of time to talk about F-Zero, which we're both going to hate because we knew it was coming beforehand.
Yeah.